Hello everyone. Today I would like to read out the sixth chapter titled The Entry from my manuscript, The Imprisonment. This is a fictional story created for awareness and storytelling. It does not promote or justify any form of crime or harmful activity. Viewer discretion is advised. I'd like to read out the story. On his way back, Darshan decided to approach the government officials directly for special permission and for Archana to meet the inmates. His project had given him access to them, and jailer was too occupied with security arrangements to review either the plan or the request. He headed straight to the administrative office. Mr. Mishra, the officer in charge of the renovation project, examined the first draft carefully. After a long pause, he looked up. Why have you named it Shantighar? Darshan answered calmly, That's a name I've given the project. You may change it if you prefer, but I believe a prison should be a place of transformation. Mr. Mishra leaned back in his chair. Transformation? They are here for punishment, Mr. Darshan. People don't land in prison for minor mistakes. They are here because of heinous acts. Why should they find peace here? Darshan held his gaze steadily. I am not dismissing punishment, sir, but punishment alone doesn't change people. Prisons exist to prevent further harm to the society. If the environment inside breeds only resentment and vengeance, we risk sending them back more dangerous than before. Without replying, Mr. Mishra leaned towards the monitor, reviewing the digital blueprints and deliberate scrutiny. Darshan continued, his voice measured but firm. If the space allows reform, even for a few, they may return differently, not as enemies of society. Initially resistant, Mr. Mishra studied the plan more closely. It did not resemble a conventional prison blueprint. The layout allowed light, ventilation, and modular space that could later be converted into compact living units with minor adjustments. The possibility was deliberate. Why include a library? Mr. Mishra asked, and provision for music in every block. Books and music can be therapeutic, Darshan replied. They may not change everyone, but they might reach someone. He paused, choosing not to say more. How can I tell him? I imagine a world where prisons become unnecessary. He would only mock the thought. After questioning him on nearly every detail and following a series of calls to senior authorities, Mr. Mishra finally signed the approval. Darshan left a quiet wave of relief. It was only a signature, but it was a movement. As he gathered the papers, he added carefully, There is one more request. My sister is a writer. She would like permission to observe and document life inside the prison. Mr. Mishra hesitated. This is not a museum, Mr. Darshan. I understand she intends to handle it responsibly. Another pause, a few more calls, a measured exchange of words. Finally, a conditional approval was granted. Darshan thanked him and left. When he reached the guest house and informed Archana, her eyes lit up immediately. Really, when can I go? She asked, already reaching for her notebook. She spoke rapidly about interview angles and narrative possibilities, almost entirely about Anamika. Samir did not interest her. In fact, she hoped their cells were far apart. Later that day, Darshan called the jailer to confirm whether the two high-profile inmates had been formally lodged. They are here, the jailer confirmed. Archana and Darshan headed to the prison. For security reasons, the jailer suggested that Archana first observe through the CCTV surveillance system. If necessary, a meeting could be arranged later. The superintendent shared the same concern. They were uneasy about allowing an outsider direct access, especially with two sensitive inmates inside. But the written approval from senior authorities left them little room to refuse. Archana stood before the monitor. There she was, a simple-looking woman in a white sari with a blue border, sat quietly in her cell. Nothing about her appearance suggested notoriety. Her posture was composed, her face calm. Only her eyes were different. They carried an intensity, not fear, not panic, but something unresolved. A quiet anger, perhaps as if the world had misunderstood her and she had stopped trying to explain. Opposite her cell, separated by a wide corridor and heightened security presence, was Samir. Due to the upcoming renovation, temporary arrangements had been made within the same high security wing. Samir stood still, observing his surrounding without agitation. A man in his 60s, neatly dressed, clean shaven, carrying himself with measured restraint. There was no visible trace of the chaos once associated with his name. Anamika turned to one of the guards. Is there no separate wing for women? She asked, in her tone controlled but firm. Even if you consider me a criminal, I deserve basic dignity. Her voice carried clearly across the corridor. Samir did not look at her immediately. After a moment, he spoke, not at her, but to the guards. Arrange what is appropriate, he said quietly. There is no need for discomfort. Anamika's expression hardened slightly. I can speak for myself. Only then did their eyes meet. Briefly. No shouting, no theatrics, just recognition. Archana was transfixed. She had imagined a terrorist to look ruthless, disordered, frightening, but Samir's calm unsettled her more than aggression would have. How do criminals carry themselves with such control? She wondered. The system had negotiated their surrender. It had agreed to conditions, it had listened. The world suddenly appeared more complicated than she had believed. Both were prisoners, yet neither looked powerless. As she continued watching through the silent glow of the monitor, one thing became clear. This was not going to be a simple story of right and wrong, and she wanted to understand it. That's all for the day. Do let me know your thoughts about the story by writing in the comments section. Thanks for watching and thanks for your time.